Hello. As you've noticed, the days are getting shorter, and if you live in the northern hemisphere, like I do here in the UK, it'll be getting dark. So I'm filming this at the beginning of November. So I want to give a little guide to show how what I do when it gets to this time of year in order to be safe, okay? As safe as you can on the roads while you're out cycling. So I live here in the UK. So if you live in Northern Europe or North America, generally in the Northern Hemisphere, it gets to maybe 3 p.m. in the afternoon and it's already starting to go dark in November, December, January. And during the day, the shortest months, it doesn't really get that bright at all during the day. So I always wear pretty much all year round, but especially if you want to be confident, feel more confident while you're out on the road, then I would recommend a sort of setup like this, okay? A setup like this. Sorry about the car noises. I always try to find the most quietest roads that I can find, but there's always still lots of cars and vans. You can never win, can you? So I always wear, pretty much all year round, I always wear high-vis clothing. So I would recommend either high-vis green or sort of high-vis orange is pretty good. And by the way, I'm filming this in November and it's 17 degrees at the moment, so I'm absolutely drenched in sweat. It feels like a summer day. So there you go, climate change and all that. So that might be, yeah, short sleeve one, a long sleeve one. And then when the weather's bad, so the weather's good today, when it's bad, get a coat that you're going to put on over the top that's also, a high vis green or orange is good. So that means that when a driver is going along the road, most likely people are always on their phones, regardless of what it is they're doing, whether they're holding a baby or driving a car with one hand. Holding a baby and looking at the phone with one hand, or driving and holding phone in one hand. So basically, what most people do while they're driving is they have the phone in one hand, and as they're going along, they're... Sorry about the noise. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Single track road that doesn't go anywhere, and that's already 3 cars. Okay, we'll have a car count. We'll see how many cars we can see in this video. So while people are driving along, they have the phone down here below the dashboard while they're driving, and essentially what they're doing is they're looking down and then looking up and then looking down, looking up like that as they're going along. So what you want to do is be seen in those moments when someone goes from looking up for a moment and then looks back down. In the moment they look up, you want to be seen, and you're most likely going to be seen when you can be visible. Got a little money spider there, a little spider. So I don't recommend dressing as a SWAT officer, okay? So what I mean by that is most people just, whether it's social media or maybe they're overweight, you see on social media everyone's dressed in black and they look like they're a member of SWAT arriving to the house or drug bust on a bicycle. Okay, so you're coming along and everyone else has turned up in the van and you're late and you turn up on the bicycle. Don't dress like a SWAT, like you SWAT, all in black. And the reason why people dress like that is so that they disappear into the background, okay? Camouflage. And yeah, if you're overweight, black can sort of conceal that. And on this channel, I help people to lose weight through the food and the lifestyle. So like and subscribe for that. You don't need to wear black. You can get lean and you don't need to worry about what you look like. And no, it's not cool to be dressed in black. It's not cool. It shows that you don't think about the consequences of your actions. Okay, you can control what you do with your actions, but you can't control what other people do. So yes, you shouldn't have to behave in a certain way for other people, but if you care about being alive and still wanting to enjoy riding a bike, okay, so riding a bike is one of the most amazing things you can do with your life. Okay, it gives you a good, amazing sense of freedom. I don't think anything else in life gives you the sense of freedom that the bicycle does. 6.8 kilos of carbon fiber and metal. Go wherever you want, as fast as you want, all day, every day, and not be sore the next day, and not hate doing it. No, you shouldn't have to change your behavior in an ideal world. You shouldn't have to change your behavior and adapt to other people's, but you do if you want to be healthy and if you want to increase your safety. So yes, if you wanted to go out and dress in black, if it wasn't for the fact that the other people who are using the road, the other road users in the cars, if it wasn't for that, for the fact that people didn't care, then yes, you could go out and dress in black. So there's that. And I also, as another, okay, here's car number 5, I think. So as another piece of high vis kit, if you can get like a high vis bottle, and I've got like a high vis bottle cage, so that also helps. That also helps, I think, the visibility from the side when people are looking at you from the side, so it catches the eye. And I also have a rear light. Okay, I've got a rear red light, and I think a flashing light is better because again it catches the eye. So I've got a rear red flashing light, and also I've got a front flashing light there. I think that battery might be getting low, so I might have to change that. And I think the next thing, so that helps, that helps visibility as well, always lights. And then also your positioning on the road. Okay, I think this is a thing that no one really talks about. What you want to do is be assertive while you're riding on the road. So hopefully I'm still in the camera angle. Hopefully I'm still in the shot. But if you're riding in the road, don't be riding in the gutter. Okay, if you want people to respect you more on the road, okay, you need to be assertive, and that's really a lesson for life as well. If you don't want people to literally ride over you, figuratively and literally ride over you. If you ride out in the road, so in the UK, you have 1.5 meters of room to ride in the road on the correct side of the road. So don't ride in the gutter and make other road users look like they can just pass you by close. So if you ride assertively in the road, that will reduce the effect of people when they're coming up behind you and they pass you really close. If you're assertive and you ride in the road and you take a more assertive line and position on the road, people are less likely to ride all over you, if that makes sense. So if you look confident and you take the room, your rightful room and place on the road, that just like everyone else has the right to take their place on the road. Okay, so that's another thing that's very important. So don't let people bully you. Okay, again, just in life, don't let people bully you. And that's all basically what human behavior is about, is one human being bullying another in order to get their way or their behavior. Okay, so high vis, positioning on the road, you got lights, and also is a very important thing as well that I use, and I panic if I knock it and I can't actually see out of it, is a bike mirror. Okay, you need a bike mirror. So I'll turn my bike around and you'll be able to see it. This here will save your life. Okay, this bike mirror. So what you do, this is a cat eye BM45, I think is what it's called. And I can't believe it. You talk about positioning on the road, okay? Here's a vehicle, okay? So again, when you're having vehicles like that, that are going to bully you, again, if you want to, maybe pull over at the side of the road, if, you're going up a hill or, and let a car by, yeah, you can do that. But otherwise, don't be, again, bullied by vehicles like that, which I find is a classic thing that you get. So if you pull in and you allow the room for cars to go by, they'll just squeeze through a gap. So if you make yourself assertive, take an assertive position on the road, you won't allow that little gap where people will just try and squeeze through and pass you really close. So you need one of these, and this allows you to gives you an extra sense of perception of what's going on around you. So yeah, you can look forward and you can see a very, very wide view, whereas in your car, the widest point of view you have is on a vehicle is on a bicycle. You got complete unobstructed. And the glasses that I wear as well, these are very wide lens, so I don't have any obstruction in my lenses on my glasses. And you can see clearly, whereas on a car and other vehicles, you don't have that full field of view. And just like in a car, if you have mirrors, okay, you've got a mirror up there and then two here, so you've got 3 mirrors. And then I know cars now, they have like a camera display, a dashboard from cameras that are on the side of the car, and you have a dashboard like it's almost CCTV. But that gives you an extra sense so you can see what's going on around you. So when you're riding along, when you have the mirror, it allows you just to look down and see what's behind you and to know what's coming. And yeah, I think one of these bike mirrors one day will save your life. For example, I see it all the time when people are riding along. They're just going along like this, and then without looking, they just turn like that. Or maybe there's something in the road, that suddenly you need to move to go around it. Something in the road, and you just have a few seconds just to, as you're going along, you just look, but you can't look in the time it takes for you to look. You might hit the object. So when you have a barn mirror, okay, this is how quick it is, and you probably don't even know that I've done it. You see, I just looked at the mirror and saw there was no one behind me, and I just went round it. There was like a log in the road, or maybe some, squished animal that you don't want to run over. You can just go around it. You don't need to look back. You just look in your barn mirror. And the amount of times I see people when they're looking and they look and they wobble like that. They look back and they wobble. No matter how experienced you are, when you're running along and you look like that, your line is going to change. I've seen people crash where they look and there's a rider in front and they catch the wheel and they fall over, or they look like that and they go like that and they're looking and they're off into the bushes. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense not to have a bike mirror. And again, it's not cool to ride without one, because is crashing cooler than not crashing? Okay. It's so ridiculous, so stupid. And then another thing as well, if you have, so I use a Garmin and they're not really very good. I've not really had very good experience with Garmin, but the Garmin that I have has the ability to, so I'm using the phone camera, but the phone can link to the Garmin and it's called Live Track. So if anything happens, I can share my position with the people that I select, who I want to see where I am and know where I am. If anything ever happens to me, I can say, I'm at so and so, something's happened, and with the live link from my Garmin to my phone with GPS, the phone will send a message saying where I am and give a position on my GPS. So there's something else to think about. I don't know if I'm presuming this feature is on other bike computers. So this is a Garmin and it's called Live Track. That's the feature. I'm presuming other bike computer brands will also have the same sort of feature where you can use it to show where you are for safety. And yeah, just other than that, it's just keep your bike maintained. In the UK, they start to put salt down when it's getting towards the point where the roads will freeze if it's that cold. So that will increase your wear and tear on your bike. And obviously, you don't want your bike to suddenly fall apart while you're going along. And then just, check your bolts and everything is all nice and tightened up to specified torque. And yeah, just enjoy riding. You don't need to fear. The amount of times that fear robs you from wanting to do something that you enjoy doing. So I always hear so many times from people who say, I used to ride a bike and I loved it, but I just was too scared of doing it on the road. Well, I've been hit by a car. I was hit by a car at 40 miles an hour. And yeah, I bear the scars. I bear the scars here. Don't know if you can see, at least there. And yeah, that was getting on for a few years ago now. And yeah, I still think about it all the time. And yeah, it was one of the most painful, probably the most painful thing that's ever happened to me, I think. I know if you've ever been hit by a car at 40 miles an hour, you'd find out that it's quite painful. But to use that as a segue into being healthy, I promote a vegan diet lifestyle because I believe that it makes you healthy. So one of the things I always hear is, well, where do you get your calcium from, or you don't have milk and dairy milk, you'll get weak and whatnot. Well, as I say, I've been vegan now almost 10 years. And when I was hit by the car at 40 miles an hour, I didn't break a single bone. So, no. And I know lots and lots of people who ride their bikes and they have a little fall. Maybe, yeah, they're a bit silly and they make a mistake and they fall off at low speed, and people are, cyclists are breaking their shoulders. And I've never broken a bone, and I've come off my bike. Yeah, I've come off my bike because I made a mistake, and I've been knocked off more times, either by other cyclists in road racing or being hit by a car, than probably my own fault. But in any circumstance, I've not suffered a broken bone. So if you want to also, like and subscribe to find out how you can make yourself bone break proof, or as least as you can. I don't like to use the term bulletproof because, it's not something that can be, that's just like a zeitgeist thing of culture. Whereas I prefer, just thinking about things in health rather than using the word bulletproof. I don't really like that term. I prefer just to say how you can get healthy, and how you can get healthy and lean. Okay, always be lean like me. And at the moment in November, this is actually the first day I've been out in about 10 days, because I was just taking a break before I train through the winter. And I'm not fat, and I eat a high sugar, I call it high sugar, high carbohydrate. So foods that provide lots of glucose, like rice and fruit. Low fat, low protein, vegan, no calorie counting, eating to feel full. And I'm always lean, have been for years, regardless of how much exercise I do. So I'm lean to start with, and then with cycling, I get leaner. So I'm about 68 kilos at the moment, and then probably race weight without calorie restricting, just increasing the amount of training I'm doing. My race weight is about 65 kilos or so. And then when I'm not training, I don't worry about what I eat. Isn't that amazing? I don't need to worry about what I eat. So hope you enjoy the video, and like and subscribe. And yeah, enjoy riding your bike this winter. And yeah, if it's just too dangerous to go out and ride, it's too icy, then you can get a turbo trainer, ride indoors. And yeah, maybe you could get, this is a road bike, but you get a mountain bike as well, maybe go off road. And yeah, I'll probably put a little at the end. If I'll go through and count, and I'll put how many cars did we see in this video. Yeah, this road is literally in the middle of nowhere, so there you go. Anyway, thanks for your time. If you got any comments or questions, and put them in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Just waiting. I'm just listening now. Is there any other cars coming? It's ridiculous. Yeah. I'll just show you some of the view here in the UK. Beautiful autumn leaves here. Ciao. Ciao.